Prime Minister Gurganidze, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Georgia recently agreed on a $750 million standby arrangement with the IMF. What are the country's greatest needs following the recent conflict?
Well, first, I would want to compliment the IMF staff on the speed with which they worked on this program. We've been very pleased with the outcome. It was put in place over a 3-week period and announced already in early September, which was crucial also from the point of view of establishing the positive news flow at a very important and sensitive time for Georgia. Looking ahead, we clearly have issues related to the recovery of the direct civilian damage. Unfortunately, this conflict has left us with a large number of internally displaced persons, of whom roughly 30,000 are displaced on a long-term basis. So we need to resettle them, give them livelihoods, rehabilitate. This costs a lot of money. The kind of money we, on our own, cannot afford, hence the donor conference that has been called for the 22nd of October. We clearly, at this point, need budget support, and some of the donor money has been earmarked for that, especially from the United States, and that's, again, very important for us, existentially important, and we're very grateful for that. Looking ahead, we clearly will need to address the infrastructure choke points and pay particular attention to the transport and energy security. And overall, of course, while our banking system is healthy, well-capitalized, and liquid, we obviously need to help them to the extent we can to keep lending aggressively to the economy, because that will, be what eventually puts us on the path to recovery, which would allow us to regain the very high growth trajectory that we have been enjoying for the past few years, during which we have grown at the rates of 10% or greater.
How much money, in addition to the IMF loan, will Georgia need?
Well, the United States have pledged $1 billion and have done so quite early. The European Commission has indicated the amount of 500 million euros. What we'll find out in the coming days is whether or not some donor countries on a bilateral basis are prepared, as we hope, to pledge additional amounts. The needs assessment has been carried out. It's been a coordinated exercise of the World Bank, the United Nations, the European Commission, the Asian Development Bank, etc. And the needs assessment establishes the overall need for roughly $3.2 billion, so of which we currently have seen pledges or indications of about 1.8, so we still need to cover some distance, but I believe we will get there. And we are very, very grateful for very strong support from the multilateral institutions, from Europe, from the United States, from other countries as well.
How exactly is the IMF loan being used?
The IMF loan is a standby facility, of which we have drawn down to $150 million, and that's just gone to increase the central bank reserves at this time of global uncertainty. And that is the purpose of the loan, that is the intended use. Clearly will not find its way into the budget or into the real sector of the economy, but it will certainly help us augment the financial stability that we have been enjoying for so many years.
What will need to be done to restore investor confidence in Georgia?
Well, investor confidence has certainly been very high over the past few years. Georgia has been enormously successful in attracting foreign investment inflows. Last year alone, the private capital inflows into Georgia were $2.3 billion, or roughly 23% of GDP. In the first half of this year, private capital inflows were $1.7 billion, so actually even accelerating from that already very high level. Looking ahead, of course, I think the events of the past few weeks have overtaken any other factor in terms of the significance. As of today, or close of business today, well, it appears to me anyway that we have turned the corner in terms of of avoiding any global financial meltdown, and things will improve over time. Georgia needs to stay its course, focusing on economic development, on radical reforms that have sort of made us, over the past few years, one of the freest economies in the world and one of the most dynamic performers. And the rest will all come with time.
Thank you very much for your time.